at the mention of the profligate Baron of Marksby. It was common knowledge that Charlotte Halfpenny had been his mistress for some time. How the man had held her attention for so long was anyone's guess. If all that was needed to engage a mistress was ready funds, Apollo would have tried to make off with Charlotte the first time he laid eyes on her in King Lear.
She won't be here for long, unless she loses it. Talk is all well and good, as long as it draws crowds, but they'll send her on her way before she damages their reputation.
Apollo smirked to himself. The company was no stranger to scandal. Charlotte couldn't do them any real damage, short of attending court in the buff. He sighed to himself as he pictured just that.
She'll have to catch a new one if she can. Won't be long before everyone knows, one way or another.
Apollo frowned at the ominous tone to this statement, and the disturbance clung to him through the end of the play. As they stood to leave, he nodded to the gentleman who had been gossiping. He lowered his voice. "I beg your pardon, but I couldn't help but hear your conversation. Has something happened to Miss Halfpenny?" They laughed good-naturedly, and Apollo fought the urge to slap them. The younger of the two responded. "She's enceinte." He gave his eyebrows a lurid wiggle. "Watch yourself, sir." "Indeed." Apollo cast a longing glance toward the empty stage. Seized with what was almost certainly a terrible idea, he collected his hat and went in search of his driver. Chapter 1. There are two ways to look at everything. Charlotte paused for dramatic effect, curling blue fingers over the side of the bridge. All beginnings are endings in disguise. Place of arrival or means of escape. Will I find my end at the bottom, or fall clear through the other side? The wind swallowed her famous voice and carried it away, taking the last thing she had of any value. It was the ice in the air that had caused her voice to shake, she reasoned. She was far too cold to feel the fear lurking in her heart, insulated as it was by dread and resignation. It was too dark to see anything but a great growling blackness over the side, but the smell assured her she had reached the right place. It's only a river, she reassured herself, though the observation brought her little comfort. Ravenous beast or churning waves, it would swallow her just the same. Would it be better to drown or be devoured? She turned to face her audience, but they paid her no mind. Not 10 paces away, they shuffled their wings, dark feathers gleaming in the moonlight like polished knives as they pecked at a murky spot beyond. The play had been over perhaps an hour, and now she couldn't even command the attention of crows. Her laugh brought a welcome puff of warmth to her lips as she turned toward the river once again. The night was worse than cold. It was merciless, and it carried with it a dampness that seeped into her every pore, chilling her to her bones and invading her weary heart. Perhaps she would freeze before she could drown. The bridge was as famous as she was, a dubious honour. The fastest way between London and the poorest boroughs to the south, the city's whores frequently threw themselves off of it, as they returned home from long days, servicing the wealthier streets in rented gowns and sagging feathers. It got them all, in the end. Perhaps it was not the easiest way to go, but it was there. Living the way they did, all that silver had to look tempting from time to time. What was an actress but a whore? Her father, a playwright, loved his quill to distraction, but had nothing but disdain for the painted players who brought his words to life. The last time she had spoken to him, he'd asked her that very question, and Charlotte, in her wisdom, had asked him why he had married one. "Prescient as ever, father?" She addressed his memory.